Hi, it's Jennie and Laurie, and we are talking about those of you who were born at the balsamic phase of the moon. Now, how do we know it's the balsamic phase of the moon? What does that mean astronomically? How about that, Jennie?
This is the other crescent moon in our series. And you will know that it's a balsamic moon if you get up in the morning and you see that crescent moon in the sky, in the morning sky, because it's going to be a little bit before the sun. You're going to see that little slender crescent. So that's how you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Now,
And how
in your chart, right?
How are we going to know if we have a balsamic moon phase? Well, we're going to go to our chart and we're going to look at where the sun is. In our example, we have the sun here at 0 degrees Aries, which is probably not where your sun is. But in order to determine your phase of the moon, you want to look at where the moon is in relation to the sun. If your moon is somewhere between 0 and 45 degrees behind the sun, you will be born during the balsamic phase. So what you need to understand is there are 30 degrees in each sign. So 30 degrees plus 15 brings you to 45. So it's somewhere in that area you will determine that you were born during the balsamic phase. Now that you know, okay, your moon is the balsamic phase, what does that tell us about you, about your personality? What is this telling us?
Well, the balsamic phase is the closing down phase. So in our plant cycle metaphor, we've gone through the whole thing. We've had a plant, it's grown, it's bloomed, it's made a fruit, and now whatever fruit was left on that vine is left to decompose. And this is such an important part of the phase because this is what is putting nutrients in that soil for the next seed, for the next new moon cycle. So you're really thinking about, this is a time of, it's not just letting go. This is surrender. Right. This is it's gone. The ship has sailed. The fruit's done its thing. And now the main thing is just to contemplate that next generation. So this is a very powerful phase. It is not one that is in the sense of like the internal look, like you're really having to surrender. And that is a very difficult thing to do. It is in our society in particular, I think, likes to pretend that this part of the cycle doesn't exist, but it's such an important cycle. I mean, this is the rest period, the time when regeneration becomes a possibility.
Yeah, I think of it as a time when, all of the plant that is rotting into the soil is consolidating all the energy from all of the cycles, from the whole cycle, into a form that will grow the next seed. And it is, like you said, it's not just about releasing, but it's about consolidating all that energy to pass on. I always feel like people born at the balsamic phase have a responsibility to the next generation, whether that be being a mentor to others or writing a book or somehow passing on the wisdom of all of this cycle for the next generation. If you think of the phases as particular, cycles of lifetimes, this is the last one before you start a whole new cycle. This is, I think Demetra George talks about people born at the balsamic phase as really encountering a lot of very intense, but not necessarily long lasting relationships, cleaning up of old karma. She talks about that. And I think that's a really interesting way to think about this lifetime. Also, you're cleaning up that garden. What's necessary for nutrients is soaking into the soil, and you're cleaning up the space for what will grow in the next cycle.
Yeah, it's sort of like you're infusing the
Yeah.
soils. It's almost like you're out there with a pitchfork, like, making sure that the compost gets into the soil. And there's a certain amount of like ritual associated with this.
Yeah.
It's a very complex moon placement, and oftentimes people with the balsamic moon just feel like they can't quite relate. They don't know how to talk about what part
Mm,
of the process they're responsible for, because there's not easy language for it. There isn't an easy way to
right.
just explain, oh, I'm just doing my karma from accumulated lifetimes. Like our society's like, what? Like, you need to go in the asylum. Okay. So,
Oh, we lost your voice, Jenny.
oh, I don't know where it went.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, but I
That
was
was
just
weird.
saying it's a challenging placement, and I feel like people with balsamic moons need a little extra support, because it's a tough placement, and
Yeah.
you're kind of serving as the bridge from the cycle. So you're responsible for seeing the dying out and bringing in the new. It's this bridge piece.
Yeah.
So there's a kind of a ritual component to it.
Yeah.
And I think that the important thing is, if you know this about yourself, it's just a tremendously helpful information. So you can take a deep breath and know that you're doing your thing. You're on the right path. You're
Right.
doing what you're
Right.
supposed to be doing. So
Yeah, I think that's it. It is really a rich and complex life for those of you that are born during this time. And I think it's really important. And I've said this in all of these videos, but I think in this one, it's even more important to really allow yourself each month to take the time to resonate with this phase, because this phase happens every month, a couple of days before the new moon. Go outside, rest in that
mm,
very last, this is the dark of the moon.
mhm,
Allow yourself to fully embrace and hold that energy in
mm,
your in you.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah, and
it's a powerful time.
yeah, you used a keyword there, Lori, that I like, which is rest.
Yeah,
Like, people with this, like, you do need rest. You do
yeah,
need time to be okay in that dark space.
yeah,
Because, like you said too before, this is someone you do have a responsibility to kind of help others with it, because everybody has balsamic moon phases of their life. And that's, again, a whole nother video. But we
right,
all face these energies at different time in our lives, whether or not you're
right.
born with it. But if you're born with it, you have a more profound understanding of it, and that's going to be part of what your
Yeah,
role is in helping others.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well said. Okay, I think we've tied things up in a bow here with all of these videos, and
Yeah.
thank you, Jenny.
Thank you,
And
Lori.
we'll talk again. Ta ta,
Bye. Thanks for
everyone.